Now that I have Rapid Ext JS installed in Visual Studio Code, it's time for me to create a new Ext JS application. You'll notice on the lower bar on the left-hand side this new Ext JS app button. I'm going to go ahead and select that button. What comes up is the Rapid Ext JS Create New Project dialog. I have the ability to enter an application name. I will enter my app. I can pick the path where the application will be installed. By default, there is a path selected. I can pick the version that I'm going to use of the underlying Ext tool. I will pick 7.6.0. I can select the toolkit. In this case, I will select Classic. I can optionally select any packages I want to install. I can pick the theme. I will keep the default material theme. And then finally, I can click the template. In this case, I will also keep the default Classic Desktop. When everything is selected, select the Create button. What happens at this point is that Rapid Ext JS uses the underlying Ext tool to create a beginning template-based application that you can then edit within Visual Studio Code. Once the application completes the creation process, you will be presented with a new instance of a Visual Studio Code window with your Ext JS application inside of that particular window. You'll notice in this case, I have my app application installed within Visual Studio Code. There will also be a running instance of Sencha App Watch, and the instance will create a web server at port 2020. So if I bring in a browser and I search to localhost 2020, I will be brought into the application that was generated. In this particular case, it's an application with a login. I will go ahead and put in an email address and a password, a dummy email address and password. And as you can see here, I have the beginnings of my template application within the Chrome environment. Now let's take a look at how I would edit the application within Rapid Ext JS. I'm going to position my browser so that I can see the application on the left side of the screen, and position my Visual Studio Code environment so that I can see the Visual Studio Code environment on the right side of my screen. Now I'm going to go and find a page to go edit. This home page is a good page to edit, so within the Visual Studio Code Explorer, I will go through the App, Desktop, SRC, View, Home folder, and bring up the home view. You'll notice in Visual Studio Code that the window that I'm looking at comes in a visual editor by default. You'll see the look and feel of the editor has shown the page that we can see on the left-hand side. We also have a toolbar here that can be used to edit the page, and several other things that we will go through as we look at this page. I'm going to click on the Explorer window to maximize the visual editor of Rapid Ext JS, and we'll do a simple change to the visual environment. On the right-hand side in the Buttons toolbox, I'm going to select a button and drag and drop it to the visual space. You'll notice that when I do that, my environment on the left-hand side changes and the button is added to the page. That's because in Visual Studio Code, I have my autosave set to on. So as soon as I drag and drop the button, the page is saved. And with Rapid Ext JS, there is a communication back to the page to reload itself, and that reloading will display the button. I can also make changes to the button. If I select the button, I have an ability to change any one of its configs. So for example, I might want to change the text property. So I can search for text, I can find the button text and change it. Let's say I change it to click me. And as I tab away from that particular, or as I hit enter, you see that the button has changed in the designer to now read click me, and the environment on the left hand side, the running application, now has click me as the name of the title. So doing this on a bigger screen, you would really have a very nice experience of making a design change and immediately seeing it reflected in the end resultant browser window.